Hey guys, happy Saturday. Jo here at SportsGrid. It's time for Puck It with Jo. We have 8 games still to go over. We had a couple of morning games. Some of them really didn't go the way I wanted. We got those empty netters, so the dog not even able to cover those puck lines. It was a hard slate this morning, but we do have an upset in the brewing here as the Arizona Coyotes lead the Nashville Predators 3-1 on their home ice. Everything's locked on that. There's 2 minutes left in that game. So no opportunities to jump on it. Riding the under between the Winnipeg Jets and the Ottawa Senators. That is a 1-1 game going into the third period. I still do like the Winnipeg Jets to be able to get the win. I'm concerned a little bit with their look ahead spot here, but the under was the main play in that game. So that game coming in nicely. And you'll have to excuse me if my eyes start wandering that way. I do have the football game on. I'm not sure if we just got the pick six there by the Houston Texans, but I absolutely love to see that because I tell you, was it a pick six? Punt return. We got the punt return. Wow. That is exactly what I want to see. I'm writing the Houston Texans in the first half plus the 6.5. And of course, you guys know me. I sprinkled on that money line. So that did happen for that first half for the Texans. Okay, Texans touchdown. It's so good to see. Winnipeg. Oh, that one is playing in overtime. Excuse me, Doug, on that one. So hard for me sometimes on FanDuel. It's really confusing when you look at some of those scores. It's saying third period, 17 minutes left on that one. So they get it wrong a lot of the time. Matt, I'm glad to hear you're rolling with the Texans with me in that first half. I really do think I had a hard time looking at the schedule this weekend because I really have always believed it would be the Ravens and the 49ers in the end. But I also look for those upsets. I don't think the Texans could get the upset. The Packers did her so good last week. I was kind of like, could it be? The Packers over the 49ers. I can't see it over the 49ers. That defense so strong. Anyway, we're here to talk hockey. Let's talk some hockey. Let's get this money today. That is for sure. Okay. Texans touchdown. Okay, let's go on to the first game. So we've got those two games going, but we do have the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Vancouver Canucks. Now, this is one where Toronto's been on this road trip. They played the Oilers. They lost that one. They got the lead in that one, and then they played Calgary. So Calgary actually got the lead in that game. And as soon as I saw Calgary get the lead, I was so nervous in that one because I knew Toronto was going to be able to come back on it. That goal that was taken away, Connor Zary got it in the back of the net. They took it away because I can't remember who they said. Maybe it was Week or someone they said handed off that puck. If they touched it with their glove, it was, I don't know. It felt like it was in Toronto being reffed because that really should have been 4-4. It would have been a totally different game if Calgary would have had that goal count. And the play went on for so long after that part. Anyway, so Toronto's rolling in off the win over Calgary. They're playing the Vancouver Canucks. It looks like it's Martin Jones and Demko in goal for these teams. Odds over at FanDuel coming in at the Toronto Maple Leafs at plus 106, the Vancouver Canucks at minus 128, total 6.5. Now the 6.5, you're going to lay juice to the over at minus 130, plus 106 to that under in this game. I think Vancouver's the right side. I don't trust the Toronto Maple Leafs, especially on the road, and they do step up to these higher class opponents. But I look at the travel between Edmonton, Calgary, and then out to Vancouver, and I'm just not buying into it. It's also the first night of a back-to-back for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They're the Kraken on deck tomorrow to finish off this road trip, and then they have a home and road versus the Winnipeg Jets after that. So while they're going to want this win today, I just think Vancouver's too strong. I trust in Demko more than I do in Martin Jones. Vancouver's team total is an interesting way to look because I don't trust in Martin Jones. I don't trust in the defense very much of the Toronto Maple Leafs. The team total over 3.5 is coming in at plus 102. I look at JT Miller in this situation as well. Oh, excuse me. My voice is kind of funny today as well for the Vancouver Canucks. And I expect him to be able to get on the scoreboard. Now, if you look at him to get on the scoreboard during a power play, we know the power play is strong for both of these teams, the Vancouver Canucks. So I think play a cleaner game than the Toronto Maple Leafs. I can see the Leafs spending some time in the box. So if you look at JT Miller and what he's been able to do versus the Toronto Maple Leafs in his career, he's been strong on that power play. He's had a power play point in 8 of the last 10 meetings between these two teams. So I'm looking at JT Miller for that power play point. That's coming in right around the plus 170. You can look at him too for the anytime goal. I do think he finds the back of the net. I like Elias Pettersson as well, and I do think this is a higher scoring one. Nylander still yet to record that point on the season, that goal since not on the season, since signing his contract. So Nylander is just an automatic play for me until he gets there because it's coming any day. It's been like all of this month so far without that point, that goal coming for him. Let's look at the Montreal Canadiens versus the Boston Bruins. This is a really interesting one, you guys. The Montreal Canadiens coming to her plus 230, minus 285 for the Boston Bruins. Total 5.5, minus 142 to the over, plus 116 to the under. Now the Canadians on the puck line plus 1.5, minus 105, and the Boston Bruins minus 1.5 at minus 114. We have seen those empty netters come today. Wow, the Texans defense is doing a solid job. We have seen those empty netters come today, blowing those dog puck lines. I do think in this one, you got to look at Sam Montague. We've talked about how strong he has been. Oh, you guys, I love to see that you got Seth Jones for that anytime goal. It was plus 650. I know a couple people got it on DK. Matt reached out. Matt got it, I believe, at plus 500 on DK. So depending on where you got Seth Jones for the anytime goal, it was his first goal on the season for the Chicago Blackhawks yesterday. So we needed that win to finish the night. The Chicago Blackhawks for the win in overtime and Seth Jones for that. And he only had 2 shots on goal, which was absolutely surprising. So good morning to you down under. I love to see that you cashed for sure. Hopefully the weather is nicer there. Okay, the Canucks too juicy. Yeah, the Canucks are getting too juicy in that one. That's why I kind of like their team total, Kev, over that 3.5, because over 3.5 for their team total, you're getting plus 106, plus 108, depending on your book. Okay, so I'm going to look at Sam Montague here. I know he killed us by the hook in the last game. 28.5 is his number again. In this one, the last game he was out, he only had 28 save shots because he took away one versus the Devils. I still don't understand, but you look at the Boston Bruins, they're averaging 30.7 shots on goal per game. We know Sam Montague is absolutely standing on his head, and the Montreal Canadiens allow their goaltending to be peppered, allowing that 33.8 shots on goal per game. Now, Allmark is confirmed on the other side of the puck for the Boston Bruins. So this all day screams goaltending defensive battle here for me. And for Montreal, it's hard to say defensive battle because the defense is lacking for the Montreal Canadiens. It's a goaltender against a defense and a goaltender, in my opinion. Now, offensively, the Montreal Canadiens really have been surprising a lot of teams. They've been able to find the back of the net. We know those playmakers in this one and how they've been coming out just so phenomenally strong. Now, the Boston Bruins have dominated this matchup. They won 9 of the last 10. They won that one in November 5-2. They have the Jets on deck on Monday, then the Canes on Wednesday. And when we look at the Montreal Canadiens, they're off that loss to the Ottawa Senators. It was the second night of a back-to-back. I did have faith in this team over the Ottawa Senators, so we did lose Montreal on the money line. They were a dog about plus 150. Ottawa just capitalized on tired legs of Montreal. So Montreal has had a couple days to kind of regroup here. I do think we can do enough in this one for them to keep that first period under 1.5. I'm going to count on Sam Montague to do so. And I don't see Montreal scoring a bunch of goals in the first period. And I do think the Boston Bruins play a strong defensive one. Allmark stands tall. So as long as the defense and Allmark stand tall and Sam Montague stand tall, I really don't care what Montreal does on the defensive side of the puck because this team is allowing those shots to come in. So it's all on Sam Montague's shoulders. So under 1.5 first periods, minus 108. The no goals in the first 10 minutes, I'm also taking a chance on because you guys know I love that plus money. That's coming in at plus 116. And then Sam Montague over the 28.5 save shots on goal. Will I be shocked if the Boston Bruins cover the puck line in this? No, I won't be because those empty netters are just coming in today and they're screwing everyone that had the dog on the puck line. Let's look at the next one here. We're due for a huge bounce back from the Dallas Stars. Still cannot believe what we saw out of them in that last game versus the Flyers. So it was a 5-1 win for the Philadelphia Flyers. Does anyone know off the top of their head? I do, but I want to know if you guys know how many shots on goal without Googling it, you guys. The Dallas Stars had in the first period, it was only one. How many do you think they got for the other two periods? Because I tell you, this number didn't hit 20. If you know it, shout it out in those comments. I know exactly what that number was. Yeah, Matt, one in the first period. Do you know what it was total for the full game? It was absolutely disgusting, right? I still can't believe what they're able to do. So yeah, at one point in the second period, they finally got their second shot. On their third shot on goal, they were able to score. It was only 15 shots on goal for the Dallas Stars. So I'm shaking my head at what we saw out of them. I think someone notified them that I was riding them on the puck line and the money line, and I was riding Jake Ottinger over his safe shots and that cashed because we did see the Flyers get those shots, but it was a 5-1 win. In this matchup here tonight, I do expect the Dallas Stars to be able to come out nice and strong. I'm looking at the Dallas Stars to have a bounce back off of their terrible performance. The second night of a back-to-back here, which is not good for the New Jersey Devils. They have lost their last 5 on the second night of a back-to-back. Isn't a team that can come out strong 2 nights in a row. Nico Dawes expected in net and Scott Wedgwood for the Dallas Stars. So with the goaltending matchup here, I expect this one to go over that total. The defense here just let the Flyers just run wild over them in that last game. I believe the Flyers got like 40-something shots on Jake Ottinger. So Jake Ottinger still had a solid night. It was the defense and the offense of the Dallas Stars didn't get off the bus in the last game. So this is the first night of a back-to-back for the Dallas Stars. They have the Islanders on deck tomorrow, which I don't know if you guys heard the news. They did fire their head coach and hire Patrick Roy there. So it's big news for the Islanders. I'm going to look at the first period here. I think both teams can score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 164. I also like the over 1.5 in the first period. That's coming in at minus 132. I think these goals come fast in this one, especially with tired legs of the New Jersey Devils. Now, the full game, I expect to go over that total whenever I'm looking at those first periods to the over. I do like the full game to the over, so we'll be looking at that. Okay, let's look at the Washington Capitals taking on the St. Louis Blues. Now, these two teams did just play. The Washington Capitals were able to get the win at home. They are now in St. Louis, and this one coming in with the Washington Capitals at plus 100, the St. Louis Blues at minus 120. The total of 5.5, minus 128 to the over, and plus 104 to the under. I look for the Caps to do it again. It's because of the goaltending in here. We got Charlie Lindgren in net tonight for the Washington Capitals. I have a lot of faith in Charlie Lindgren. I think he's a fantastic goalie for them this season. I like what we've been seeing out of him. He seems to look sharper every single game out there on the ice. So he's got a 2.22 goals against average, a 0.927 save percentage. His number tonight is 26.5 save shots on goal at minus 118 to the over. I wish we weren't laying minus 118. I wish this was, minus 110, but I'm still willing to hit it here. I'm just a little worried the Capitals defensively will lock down and not allow that number of shots to come in for this one to cash. We're going to be really tight to this number because the Capitals are allowing that 30.6 and the St. Louis Blues only averaging the 29.7. So this one's right on the cusp for betting, but I do think Charlie Lindgren's in for a really solid night. So I lean towards the over 26.5. But I do think the Capitals can get back-to-back wins over the St. Louis Blues. The St. Louis Blues have a road trip on deck on Monday, and it's a hard one coming up. The Flames, the Canucks, the Kraken, and then they return home to face the Kings and the Columbus Blue Jackets before the All-Star break. Now, this is the first game of a 4-game road trip before the break for the Washington Capitals. They have a really hard schedule in front of them, the Wild, the Avs, and the Stars before the All-Star break. So I do think with Ovechkin back in this lineup, he returned in that Thursday game, that we're going to see the best effort out of them tonight. They know they need to get this win here and then try to win the next one versus the Wild, because the Stars and the Avs are going to be incredibly hard for this team to be able to hang with. Um, Interesting little trend here. The winner of the last 5 games has scored 5 goals. So the Washington Capitals won it last time, 5-2. Like I said, just 2 days ago, that was on Thursday. The St. Louis Blues won the last 4 games. In each of those 4 games, they scored 5 goals. So if you want to play around with some exact goal scorers and whichever team you think is going to win this, 5 to whatever, I don't hate it, you guys. That's a crazy trend to look at with those goal scorers there. But I do think this one stays under that total. I just can't see, so I say that, but I can't see this one being a 5-2 kind of style game. I would lean to the under 5.5. That's coming in at plus 110. I also like the first period under 1.5. That's at minus 108. Just looking at what these teams have been doing defensively as of late. Oh my God. CJ Stroud just had a phenomenal pass down the field. I tell you, this kid, I cannot believe how solid this rookie is out there. If the upset comes with the Houston Texans today, I will be absolutely flabbergasted. I don't think that's a word I've used in a long time. Nico Collins got that ball. Wow. Okay, let's get back to hockey. I tell you, it's hard to talk hockey sometimes when these games are playing. Lindgren has allowed 2 goals on 20 shots on goal in that last game. We've got the same goaltending matchup that we had in the last game. Both of these, oh man, they're just moving this ball. The Houston Texans might win the first half of this game. I don't know if they're going to win the full thing, you guys, but man, I'm so glad I got money on them in the first half, plus the 6.5 on the money line first half. Okay, the last game on Thursday. Let's get back to this. If I can keep my train of thought. Charlie Lindgren only allowed 2 goals on 20 shots. So very limited shots in that game by the St. Louis Blues. So his number 26.5. Like I said, it's going to be so tight if he gets over that. I do expect the Blues to get more shots. Then Binghamton allowed 4 goals on 25 shots on goal. So Binghamton definitely was the weaker goalie in that one. We did see the Capitals push harder, get more shots on him. So I do think this one stays under. I think Binghamton has a better day, and Charlie Lindgren still has a solid day here. So Binghamton, we know his numbers have been stronger on the season. Binghamton has a 3.08 goals against average and a 0.904 save percentage. So I do expect more out of him in this one. But let's take the under. Let's take Charlie Lindgren over 26.5 save shots on goal. And the Washington Capitals with that plus money on the road to win 2 in a row. Man, this football game is so good. I know, settle down. Getting excited here, flabbergasted. I know I haven't used the word flabbergasted in like forever. Someone used it around me. I think it was my mom. So Ovi is back out. I did not hear that Ovi is back out. I know he came back on Thursday. I didn't know Ovi went back out. So that is not good to hear. Okay, let's look at the next game here. The Anaheim Ducks taking on the San Jose Sharks. This is a yucky game. I'm going to say yucky because I don't know how else to describe it without using language that I probably should not use on YouTube or on X, or my mother would probably kill me. So the Anaheim Ducks taking on the San Jose Sharks. We got Gibson in net for the Ducks and Blackwood here confirmed for the San Jose Sharks. Now looking at current odds, on FanDuel on this one, the San Jose Sharks at plus 104, the Anaheim Ducks at minus 125, and the total of 5.5 at minus 134 to the over 5.5 and plus 110 to the under. Now, I know a lot of people saying these teams are struggling offensively. Take the under. I can't take the under here. I really do think 2 poor teams that have been struggling offensively can find rhythm against each other. So I lean to the over at minus 134. Do I want to put my money there? I absolutely don't. It just doesn't appeal to me to be able to put my money in situations like this where we've got 2 poor teams and we've got a home dog here in the San Jose Sharks at plus 104. I'd rather put my money on the Sharks than put my money on the Ducks. Battle of the Pacific with the Ducks sitting 7th and the Sharks sitting 8th. I don't love this game, though. I don't want to put my money anywhere This is the last game of a road trip for the Ducks, so I do think the Sharks, on their first game home off a road trip, they both have their negatives working against them. So it's the Sharks or nothing in this one, especially with the Sharks being embarrassed in their last game out versus the Chicago Blackhawks. So yeah, Sharks or nothing, you guys. Yeah, exactly. They're both terrible. Let's take the Sharks. It's a stink fest. It really is, you guys. It's really hard. Okay. No good. Oh, man. I tell ya, no good there. The field goal. I can't believe that. Okay, the Pittsburgh Penguins taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. Let's go Penguins. That's where I'm going with this one. The Pittsburgh Penguins minus 134. The Vegas Golden Knights at plus 112. And I really want to get behind the home dog of the Vegas Golden Knights. It just can't get there. I love what we've seen out of the Pittsburgh Penguins as of late. This total 6.5 at minus 138 to the under and plus 112 to the over. Looking at this, Sidney Crosby off 2 goals the last game versus the Vegas Golden Knights. I'm looking at Sidney Crosby to come out nice and strong again. I'm going to take him for that anytime goal, but I look at Vegas, and without Jack Eichel, I just don't have faith in this team right now. I do think both of these teams lock down strong defensively. These teams actually trend to the over when they play each other, but I think they break these trends. I don't like the over 6.5. The under 6.5, I don't love either at minus 138, but I do think it stays under that total. We just look at what these teams have been doing as of late. The Pittsburgh Penguins have been strong offensively, and they've been locking down on a defense over the last 10 games. So they've been solid on both sides. Tristan Jarry, he can be up and down, but he's got a 2.48 goals against average and a 0.916 save percentage. When we look at the last 10 games, they've been averaging 3.6 goals per game and 2.3 goals allowed per game. When we look at the last 10 for the Vegas Golden Knights, they've been averaging only 2.3 and allowing 2.5. So I just don't trust this team offensively. You can look, if you're brave enough to fade Vegas at home for their team total, under 2.5 goals for the Vegas Golden Knights tonight's coming in at plus 120. It is scary to take Vegas's team total to the under at home, but I'm going to do so. Plus 120. I cannot say no. I think it's a solid way to go. I'm going to take this full game, though, to the under because I really do think Vegas doesn't score a lot of goals. 2 goals at the most for the Vegas Golden Knights. 4 goals for the Pittsburgh Penguins. 6 goals. That keeps us under 6.5. Again, I hate the juice we're laying at minus 138. The last 5 games, Pittsburgh has allowed an average of 1.83 goals per game, and Vegas in their last 5 games has allowed an average of 1.8. So I do think defensively, these teams are going to show up. It's which team you believe is going to show up stronger defensively and which team you think offensively can get things done. Vegas just hasn't been showing me enough lately for me to be able to put my money on them. Now, Mark Stone, if you're looking for someone to really step up for Vegas, it would be Mark Stone in the situation for me. He's got 13 goals and 31 assists on the season. So you could look at him for the goal, the assist, or just the plain out point tonight. Lamar getting absolutely destroyed out there on the field. They got the sack. Okay, let's look at the Edmonton Oilers taking on my Calgary Flames. I blink a lot. Well, I guess I blink a lot. Who's in goal for which one? Okay, yeah, I do like the 4-2 win here for the Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm sorry, I blink a lot. I don't know why my eyes blink a lot. Let's look at the Edmonton Oilers versus the Calgary Flames in this matchup. Now I'm self-conscious of my blinking, you guys. That's kind of weird. Dan Vladar, Battle of Alberta, Stuart Skinner here. Edmonton rolling so phenomenally hot. Okay, here's the thing. If Calgary doesn't beat Edmonton tonight, Edmonton will go in my opinion, to the All-Star break, winning 16 straight. Edmonton tonight versus Calgary. They've won their last 12. This is game 13. They have the Chicago Blackhawks and the Columbus Blue Jackets at home in their next 2 games, and then the Predators on the road. The Predators might be able to break this win streak, but I think Calgary and the Predators have the best opportunity over the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Chicago Blackhawks. So Calgary, their arch rival, absolutely wants to get this win tonight over the Edmonton Oilers. I think it's worth taking Calgary. You're going to get the best performance out of them here in this one. Battle of Alberta is always electric. It is in Calgary. It's in the Saddle Dome. I have so many friends going. I wish I could go, but I am live on SportsGrid tonight. So join me live on SportsGrid. It's going to be so much more fun than being actually at the game. Joking. And then I get to watch the football game as well. Calgary shots on goal the last time these teams played at the Heritage Classic. I was at that game, was absolutely pitiful. It was like 5 shots on goal in the first period. I do expect in this one for both of these teams to come out so strong defensively. If you like Calgary, you actually looking at how these games have played out, Calgary has won in high scoring fashions. Edmonton's won in lower scoring fashions, which I would have thought would have been reversed. But I started to think back on the games that I've been to, and yeah, it has been. And then I started looking at those matchups, and it really truly is. Calgary wins in the higher scoring ones. Edmonton wins in the lower scoring battles. So Stuart Skinner, Dan Vladar save shots on goal is 28.5. I'm taking that to the over. I do think he absolutely stands on his head. We know the Edmonton Oilers are the best team at getting those shots. They're averaging 34.4 shots on goal per game. The power play is clicking fantastically at 25.1. So Calgary has to play clean and stay out of the box. These two teams do not like each other. They end up being dirty games. So hopefully Edmonton ends up in the box. Calgary has a strong kill at 84.1%, which is solid here, but the kill is strong for the Edmonton Oilers at 81.8. My favorite bets of this game, while I am taking Calgary to break this winning streak of the Edmonton Oilers, because I just think there's so much drive there. My favorite bet is the under 1.5 in the first period. I do think this first period is a complete lockdown of both of these teams defensively, neither team wanting to make that mistake in the first period. So give me the under 1.5 in the first period. Coronado here, I can never pronounce his name. Coronado here of the Calgary Flames has been recalled from the AHL. I love him tonight for that anytime goal. I know I'm riding an under in the first period, but I do think taking him for that anytime goal at plus 360. This kid is so young and hungry and wanting to prove himself. You absolutely need to look at him with that value. I'm not going to take the full game under this total. Like I said, if Calgary wins, this probably goes over the total. If Edmonton wins, it's because Calgary's just not able to score on the Edmonton Oilers. Oilers probably go over their team total, but this one stays under that total because Calgary struggles. So first period, under 1.5. It is an odd scheduling spot, though, for the Edmonton Oilers. One-off road trip, just, 3 hours down the road to Calgary, though. And then back home. Chicago Blackhawks. So the second game at home. Columbus Blue Jackets, they play first. Then Chicago, and then Predators on the road before the All-Star break. So let's go. Let's go, Calgary. Edmonton 4-2. Flames on the money line. Vladar in. Some people do blink. I do blink. I do blink a lot. Okay. Next game, we have the New York Rangers taking on the LA Kings. Oh, actually, I have a same game parlay in the Calgary game. This one pays plus 587. I'll be giving it out on the grid tonight, but it's the Calgary Flames on the money line. It's a long shot parlay, okay? Calgary Flames on the money line, the under 1.5 in the first period, and no goals in the first 10 minutes. And that pays you plus 587. Like I'm going to tell everyone tonight, bet all legs of that parlay outside of the parlay as well if you're going to take it, because all have positive plus money. I hate doing, high favorites, laying juice, even within a parlay. So I'm going to go there plus 587 with that. But the New York Rangers taking on the LA Kings. We got Jonathan Quick starting against his former team. When Jonathan Quick was with the LA Kings, it was dreaded. Like, it was so concerning when he came out for them because those goals would come in. Jonathan Quick this season with the New York Rangers has been absolutely phenomenal. He's got a 2.49 goals against average and a 0.915 save percentage. I love the revenge factor against his former team here. David Reach confirmed in net for the LA Kings, 1.69 goals against average and a 0.934 save percentage. I do think we can look at Quick in this one to have a really strong performance, but David Reach has been so strong. The LA Kings have been so strong defensively. This one screams under to me all day. Looking at current odds here, under 6.5. Again, they're just juicing the heck out of us. Is -128, plus 104 if you think this one goes over. Could we see this one go to overtime and push us over that total? Absolutely. So that is my fear with this one going to that under. It's plus 106 for the New York Rangers to get the win, -128 here for the LA Kings. Think the LA Kings can dominate and cover that puck line, laying 1.5 is plus 184. I do think the Kings get back on track in this game. Do I want to lay -128 with a team that's lost their last two? That loss to the Predators last one, 2-1. You really don't, but the New York Rangers are off that loss to the Vegas Golden Knights, 5-1 in their last game out as well. I don't know, you guys. I think this is just a lockdown on defense. I'll look at the under 1.5 in the first period. It will be cool for him to come in. And I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for your kind words. But it is a coin flip. It is a coin flip that could go to overtime. I'm worried this one ends up 3-3 going to overtime, pushing us over that total. I do think, yeah, quick is confirmed. So a really good one there. I really do think it's either 2-2 overtime or 3-3 going to overtime. So I don't want to touch that total. I would look at the under 1.5 in that first period. I do think the heart of these teams right now is really to lock down defensively. So the under 1.5 in that first period. Maybe we look at the no goals in the first 10 minutes as well in case those goals come out late in that first period. We could see a couple quick back-to-back ones if one of these teams does open up. So I'm looking at that, but I do like this one to go to overtime, Doug. I am with you. This one should go to overtime here. Kev going with the Rangers on the money line. It's a hard one, to get behind. The Kings at home just haven't been solid this season. 7-8-1-4 at home. You look at the New York Rangers, they're rolling in 13-8-0-2 on the road. So this team has all the elements. It would be amazing to see Jonathan Quick get that win versus his former team where he completely struggled and proved to them. So in that regards, you got the Rangers here. You're getting plus money on the New York Rangers. It's hard to say no to at plus 106. So I guess I would lean that way. Wouldn't be surprised if the Kings won it. But I do think the draw, the overtime, like Doug is saying, is a fantastic way to go in that first period just to stay low scoring. But you guys, I'm going to get back. It's halftime. We went in 10-10 apiece, thankfully, with the Houston Texans and the Baltimore Ravens. Let me know who you have to win this one. What are you thinking also in the Green Bay Packers game tonight versus the 49ers? You guys know I'll be live on SportsGrid Battle of Alberta tonight. There's going to be so much to bet on for a live betting situation. So make sure you join me over on the grid. Scott Wetzel and myself live from 8 p.m. Eastern all the way to midnight. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Going to make some money over there. I tell you, live betting these hockey games. If you like betting hockey, you're going to love it live even more because the overreaction on the books when one team does score right away, especially when your favorite scores right out of the gate, the value you're getting on that puck line, you're even getting plus 2.5s in a lot of these situations. And the ability for teams to come back is absolutely phenomenal. So live bet with me tonight over on the grid. It's going to be a lot of fun and even these totals. So we're going to make some money tonight, and I can't wait for this football game. It's going to be a great night. Happy Saturday, everyone. I'm so glad to be here, and I want to say a huge thank you to each and every one of you. It's so welcoming to see your names popping up each and every day in the chat. I appreciate you guys. I'm so lucky to have such a great community around me in the sports betting world. So thank you. Have a good one. If you haven't got the SportsGrid app yet, make sure you go over and check it out. All the links are below this video or above this video, depending on where you're watching. I do have those shorts going up every single day not every single day. Most days on there, we're going to have shorts in the NHL as well as always my shorts in the NFL, which games I'm liking and which props I'm liking in them. So let's have a good one. Keep smiling, you guys. Let's make some freaking money tonight. Bye now.